Today we're doing something dangerous. We're opening my sketchbooks from over 10 years ago. These drawings have been hidden away for a reason. The anatomy is questionable, the shading is optimistic, and my confidence was wildly higher than my skill level, as you can see. Some of these are very interesting. Others have potential, like this little eye here. That's when I started to get so obsessed with human anatomy and drawing portraits. But then, what is this? Like, immediately terrible. So I was kind of all over the place. These are from early high school. And during high school, I really thought I was all that and a bag of chips when I was drawing. I thought these were peak. And looking back is just so painful because, one, I cannot cartoon to save my life. But these more realistic ones definitely had potential. The ideas were there. Using colored pencil, you'll see that throughout all three of these sketchbooks. It's a medium that I'm still drawn to today and really helped me get to where I am. However, some of these, I think I was doing pages just to fill pages. I also was obsessed with Disney animation and I loved just drawing those characters. I was really good at just copying the character. I was not good at coming up with my own character ideas, which I think in the end was what held me back from becoming an artist and going to art school, is I didn't feel creative enough. But some of these are really good. Like, that looks pretty spot on to that character, but I don't know. Something held me back. And honestly, looking at these notebooks, I was not ready. I was not ready for art school. They would have chewed me up and spit me out so fast. My technical ability was just not there in high school. I was pretty much all self-taught by my grandma, but my grandma was an oil painter, so a lot of my 2D materials, it was all just kind of off the top of the noggin and playing around with pens and pencils to see if I could make anything happen. These couple letters, please do not be that impressed. They are direct copies from someone else's artwork. Yes, I was good at copying. That was about it, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I was on something in high school and also didn't know I was autistic back then. And I think that also hindered a couple different things in my life. And art was just a way to escape, which was great, but the escapism still didn't have much imagination. Like, you'll see in some of these sketchbooks where I try to think of things off the top of my head, and they're immediately so much worse than just copying a picture. So a lot of times when you see the proportions that are just completely off, it's when I try to do it from my memory and not from a picture. So like this one of hair, I was very proud of. I remember vividly being so proud of this hair. And then I completely fumbled her neck because I didn't copy the picture. So very funny. Again, this one right off the top of the noggin, and you can tell because it's not good. I'm showing you a current piece that I did of a rope that is much more impressionistic and much better at representing my current skill. But again, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself in these because I was learning and I was young and I was completely self-taught. And yeah, I took a couple art classes during middle school and high school, but as we all know, those don't really teach you what you need to succeed with art. And sometimes they even take your creativity away. So I am happy I'm self-taught and that I continued down the path and just kept at it. But these sketchbooks remind me of how far I have come, which is nice, but also terrifying. So this next sketchbook is actually out of order. I believe this one is really, really early middle school into high school, and it gosh, it shows. A lot of these pages, like, I don't fill sketchbook pages. I use the front page only. I don't know why. I think because I was like, oh, I could always come back and rip it out and frame it. Like, I would frame any of this. Oh gosh, I cracked myself up. Lots of Disney drawings, so many character drawings. It's all I really felt good at back then, and it's what everyone told me I should go into, was cartoons and being an animator, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it, guys. Guess who this is? Mr. Leo DiCaprio. God bless him. Also, this is horrifying. What in God's name is that? That's nightmare fuel. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a cute, nice old lady. It is not. It is not. Also, I don't know what happened to Superman's face, but they're very blocky. Again, just out of the brain, trying to think of something that's not copying a reference all the time. But yeah, I don't know. Realism, when I discovered that I could just draw things that existed in real life, I think that was a breakthrough for me, and I felt very proud of like the sketch where I just stared at a ball jar and tried to draw it. But then, again, back to trying to develop my own characters. This one, I think, is probably one of the best eyes that I have out of most of these sketchbooks. I got pretty good depth on it, and yeah, I was feeling more confident. But then again, took 3,000 steps backwards with that eye. Again, trying things out of the brain. You can see a pattern, guys. You're starting to see the pattern recognition. I don't know what I was doing here. Again, trying to make things more fun and interesting and just trying to play around. And then we reach really good copying of characters. And I was starting to get really good at those. And then proportions. Proportions were my mortal enemy, and honestly still are my mortal enemy. But this sketchbook, I think, takes me through maybe freshman year in high school, and then I never finish it, as you can see. I think there's a couple more in the back that are just scribbly nonsense, but yeah, this was around the circa summer I did my Delaware art camp, where I went and stayed in Delaware for about a year. A year? Jesus Christ. A week. I wish it was a year, because it was so fun. But that's kind of when I realized that art probably wasn't for me long term, in the college space at least. Now I'm regretting those decisions because I'm circling back to my art and now struggling to develop my own artistic style and get into galleries, and doing all of that on my own without any formal training is proving to be quite difficult. But this sketchbook that you've seen a couple out of, I think this was my most current. And again, just trying out character sketches. I don't know what that is. Don't ask me. I have no words. Again, a good eye. I was, again, pretty decent at eyes. The proportions were off sometimes, but the shading was good. I got good tone, depth, whatever you call it. Again, a copy of someone's character, not my own. Again, a copy of someone's character, not my own. I have so much respect for artists who can just create characters and fantasies out of their head, because if I could have done that, I would have been unstoppable. I would have gone to art school. I would have thrived. It would have been great. But that is unfortunately just not in my repertoire. And I think now, as an adult, I'm learning where my creativity is, and I think it's in observation and being more messy and more free with my paintings. This guy I was very proud of. I actually observed this man and drew him and sketched him as a character, and I think it was the only successful one I've still to this day ever done. I don't know how I did it. Don't ask me to do it again because I don't think I can. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out who I am as an artist. These sketchbooks have definitely reminded me how far I've come, and that has made me happy to see my progress, because sometimes I don't feel like I'm progressing. I feel like I'm digressing. Especially when you're trying to play around with different mediums and different techniques. I feel like when you step out of process mode and into just trying to have fun with your art, it can be kind of intimidating. I hope you have enjoyed watching these sketches progress. I don't know if you want to call it progress. I don't think there's a ton of progression in these, but they're certainly fun to look at. And the last one is the most important in my book, because this was my senior year and I was actually taking these portraits pretty seriously and doing them in Prismacolor pencil. And I think you can see the major jump between those sketchbooks and this one of just overall quality of the art. Hello, Walt. I was about to do my Disney college program and signing up for all of that, and so Disney was definitely top of mind. But Prismacolor was definitely my bestie. I loved her dearly, and yeah, I think if I would have taken my time and actually finished this sketchbook, I would have been really, really happy with it. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. I hope you like looking at all of my bad art, and if you want good art, make sure to subscribe.